Welcome to PHP blog website development course. Today we are going to work on registration. We have already successfully made functions which allow us to make queries database to database, but for adding rows and but for getting values from there. And right now, let's make it into usage by our registration form. So having everything ready, I already turned on my localhost server and I have my VS Code editor ready, which makes working with code so much easier. So first of all, I want to note you that inside form, we need to add two attributes. First of all, it's method. Method is gonna be assigned to post. But what's post? Actually, when creating a form, there are a number of ways we can transfer information to the server. So one of them is get and the other one is post. With get, everything you type is going to be transferred using get parameters. So inside the URL, the link which you can see on the top of your browser about the page you are visiting, all the information the user types is visible. So actually, all the passwords which are gonna be written in registration are gonna be visible. And the other one is post, which hides that information. It does not hide it very confidentially, but at least it's not written in URL. But actually, it's possible to catch post information, but it's not about this lesson. The safest way for us to do it using post method. And if you watch on my screen, you will see I wrote here method post, which means I'm gonna use post. And if I don't actually specify any value to attribute method, it's gonna be by default, which is get. In action, I'm gonna specify the file which is gonna get the information which is submitted inside the form. For this reason, let's first create the file. I'm gonna go inside includes or in DB, but none of these folders make sense to us. So I am gonna add another folder and call it controllers. I'm gonna change my keyboard language to English. Was in my native Armenian. So let's add these controllers, and inside here I'm gonna call it reg.php, short name for registration. And here's how it's gonna happen. After you click, we're inside the action. Let's specify the path. Information is gonna be, we are gonna work with the information insert into database inside this reg PHP file, but we need to give location to the action. And here's how it's gonna be. It's inside app. We are starting from the same directory as register, and then we go to inc, and in includes we have controllers and reg.php, and that's done. We are gonna be headed over to that file, and we need to give names. Each input can have a name by which we can refer to it. So it's gonna be in the following way. Let's add it before IDs, and the name of our your name is gonna be our username. And let's copy this attribute with its value because we are gonna reuse it. For the email, it's gonna be email. For password, it's gonna be password. Or let's write passwd, use shorter version. And we are gonna also check if the passwords are equal. So we ask the users to repeat the password, as you can see in here. So let's call this repass wd, and we also need to give a name to the button as well, and it's gonna be reg submit, and the type is gonna be submit to. So that's it. and we can check what we have. I'm gonna go to reg file, open my PHP opening tag, and try to get information. I'm gonna echo. As we have talked together, we use post method. So every information which we are gonna get inside this file is gonna come, is gonna be accessible using post super global. And as soon as it's an array, let's do it the following way. Let's say, for example, and here we are gonna use the names to access the objects inside the array, because post itself is gonna be an array of objects, and we can do something better writing, and that's how it's gonna be. In some lessons ago, we have written a function inside our connect.php, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's called print query. But before we can use this function, let's include this. I'm gonna use include once, and here I'm gonna specify the path. So I need to go back one folder back, and from there I'm gonna choose db, and from there it's gonna be connect.php. And here I can use print query function which we have created and paste on line 5, and as its parameter I'm gonna pass post super global. So as I can see all the information which we get. So let's reload the page inside register and write here cats, and as an email I'm gonna say cats.cats.com, and inside password is gonna be 123123, and let's do another 123123. Of course, it's not the safest password in the world you may be able to use. And we get our first error, and let's see what's the reason of that. So no such file in directory, controllers, okay, and yeah, I guess I made a misspelling. Connect.php, and after reloading I think we will see a different view. And yeah, that's it. It's an array, and this what is echoed inside delete, I believe it's still inside connect. So somewhere we still print the query. Yeah, print query. This is where it's here. And I don't need this call function, which we obviously left in there. And that's it. After reloading one more time, we can see the information we have. So all this information, this array of objects, is accessible to us to do anything we want. So let's understand first of all what we need. First of all, we need to store this information. So we have username, email, pass wd, the name of another key of the object, and repass wd and reg submit. So basically, let's write the following. First of all, just to be protected from any hacker attacks, let's check anything before we add information to database. So for this, here is how it's gonna be. Inside PHP, we have super group, and one of them is server. So we are gonna refer to it, and server helps us to specify our request method. So let me write it for us. And if the method of request is equal to post, again in double quotes, and let's fix this. This is the first check that we are gonna do, and sorry, it's 7, shift 7, and here we are gonna tell if the button of submission button was clicked, so it's reg submit, so it's gonna be is set, a nice native function of PHP which helps us to identify if the button is clicked or actually if a variable has value. So again, it's gonna be accessible using post. And let's get the name of our button. And we called it rec submit. Going inside rag.php, I am gonna pass it right in here. If it's correct, let's echo, hey, everything is cool. Because it's summer, it's better to have something cooler. And going to page, I'm gonna go back and right here some default values 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 and register. Yes, hey, everything is cool, which means that what we have done is passing all the checks. And we are ready to move forward. So let's delete this. And first of all, what we need is saving all this information inside variables. So let's create 4 of them. First of all is the username. The other one is gonna be an email. The other one is password. And let's start another one. I'm gonna call it repass, which is actually the confirmation of the password. And all of them are gonna have values. And they start from username. And as I told, it's accessible inside post. And as post is an array of objects, let's see its username. I'm gonna tap here username, copy and paste this line in all the other variables because just the names and the keys just the key names are changing. So let's just copy this line, paste, paste, and paste one more time. And for email, it's email. For password, it's passwd. Remember, these are the names we have given to our inputs so as we can access their data. And here, repasswd. And I believe that's cool. And let's echo each of them, or just echo one to make sure that everything works correctly one more time. And I think I won't print query this time. Everything saved. Let's go back. Reload the page. Just add some information here. And yeah, it comes. Everything correct one more time. So I'm cleaning these lines and we are moving forward. Actually, what we need right now is the following. We have a checkbox right here, I agree, and we can see it's a checkbox, and this checkbox does not have value. Let's put its value to 1. So actually, this is how checkboxes are working. If it's checked, it is gonna have value, and if no, it's not gonna have any value. So inside our reg.php, we will be able to check it using isSet. So if our user does not accept our terms and conditions, our user won't be able actually to register on the website. To do this, let's start by creating an array of objects. I'm gonna call it errors array, ERR array, and it's gonna still get empty until we add information to it. So here's how it's gonna work. First of all, let's start by if conditions. If not isSet, and inside isSet, again we are gonna get access to supergroup global post, and the name of the checkbox is gonna be, yeah, we did not give it a proper name, so let's give it now. Name, I'm gonna call it agree, and it's gonna be the same in here. We are gonna use here array push, so as we can add information in there, and we are gonna push to our ERR array variable which we have created, and the pushed value is gonna be a string which is gonna be called. To proceed, you need to agree to terms and conditions. And there are a number of other ifs that we need to check. The other one, if we have any empty input, which you are gonna see here, we need a username, email, password, and we need to repeat the password too. So we need to check for these two. So if it's empty, we can check it in the following way by post, or let's better move this out or move this to the top, and we can use variable to check them. Let's paste them right in here and move ifs to the same lines, and compare. So if our username is equal to empty string, or which is gonna be like this, or we can like with words, or the others, or email is empty, again equal to empty string, or password or repass, the same is gonna happen to them. So we call it password is equal to empty string, or it's gonna be repass is equal to empty string. We are gonna array.push and tell the following. All inputs need to have value. At least one of them is empty. Is empty. Closing it, and finally let's echo, or better print query using the function which we have created, our ERR array variable, and see how it happens. Let's open the browser, reload the page, and continue. To proceed, you need to agree to terms and conditions. Yeah, we have a typo here which we will fix, but we see that although everything is empty, we are still not getting this array push of our second object into the array. So let's understand what's the reason. And I think that it's more about these strings, because maybe someone may put an empty, let's go to back, just a space, and it's still gonna see it as not empty, and it is not gonna count. So let's better try to use empty. It's a function, native function used in PHP. So let's do this, and it's gonna check if it's empty or no. And this time I think we are not gonna see this problem again. So let's go like this and try again. I'm gonna reload. I won't agree and push. Yeah, all inputs need to have value. At least one of them is empty, fixing the typos. Here we need a space. To proceed, you need to agree to terms. Yeah, an additional A. And everything is cool. And if and let's kill whatever happens inside the code, and we will do it later, change it later if we don't like it. But actually, if we have a mistake, why shall we continue? So there is no actually any reason to continue if there is any of these mistakes. So I'm gonna comment this print query and go back to our register.php, where we are gonna show all these errors once we have them. And to do this, we need to find a way to transfer information from this reg.php to our register.php. And the best way of doing them are sessions. So let's start the session here. Session start. And sessions are gonna help us to transfer values. Sessions are super globals, like we use server or post, which we have used recently. And in the end, let's do the following. I'm gonna call again $sign dot and call session and call it errors, and which it will be equal. I'm gonna do this before exiting, so we are gonna change where the exit stands. I'm gonna copy this and it's equal to ERR array. That's nice. So basically we save it, and if we have them, it's gonna save this. So let's clean this exit for a while and go to register.php. Just on the top, let's start our session so as we can access the variables. Session start. And here, let's get this error session which we have created. PHP, I'm gonna use a var down, and what we have done was called session errors. Let's do like this, saving this and reloading. It's still a null, but after we register and we go back, we see an array. So we are getting the information that we need. It's correct. We were able to transfer the session values. But by the end, we need also to destroy the session. So I'm gonna copy this line, and right after HTML, I'm gonna add here session destroyed. Every time the page is reloaded, so as if the user makes next time everything correctly, we are still not getting the same errors, and our registry in session is getting cleaned. So everything is good. It just stays for us just to use for each to get all this information from session. So I'm gonna cut this. Let's save and write. I think in the form, just in here, I'm gonna do the following. I'm gonna use for each loop, just where we will be able to loop an array of objects which we have as mistakes and then use them. So if session errors. Then we are going to continue if this case happens. So for each session errors as $sign value, echo the value and see how it looks like. And inside reg I'm gonna add and I'm gonna use location header, which is gonna help us to move to our register once everything is done. So it's called location, and inside location we need to specify the directory. And if I remember correctly, it's gonna be like this. We have in our path a global variable which tells us it's a base URL, everything is correct, base URL, and that's good. And we are gonna do concatenation, and right after that there are gonna be register.php. But let's first of all also to check that is everything correct or no, because we need actually to get this file where is our path in order to be able to use this base URL. So I'm gonna copy this include one statement, and it's gonna be in includes and path.php. Let's check if we did any typo in here and then move on. I'm gonna register. Yeah, we are getting the header location header works. We are getting all the mistakes that we have. Let's just let a bit sterilize them. And I'm gonna open this, and in my register where I just echo the value, I'm gonna do it in the following way. I'm first gonna have p tags with, let's say, with class of error. Let's go a bit below. Yeah, it's gonna be in single quotes just so as we don't have mistakes, and it's gonna be closed. I'm gonna do concatenation with our value, and again closing p tag. And right after it I'm gonna also echo a br, and that's it. Let's just work on this error. Let's call it error handle just so as we don't mix with any other class. Our CSS file is in assets css style css, and right in the end where we have this comment login and registration, in error handle let's call it color red and see how it looks like. I'm gonna reload. Yeah, undefined index error in C on line 51 because our session is destroyed, and obviously our session errors no longer exists. That's the only case. So let's first var down, so it needs to be empty. So I think we can check it with empty function. So as if it's not empty, only then it will continue. And after reloading, yeah, everything is correct. But if we miss it, you can see everything works. Cool. Let's just see why was the reason. we don't have this red color. Just let's come here. Yeah, error handle. I believe somewhere I did not save it. So it's P with class error handle in my style CSS. I have it, but is it the same? Let's check one more time. Yeah, everything is correct. I'm gonna save this and reload my page one more time. And it was, I think, just a cache. After one more reloading, it will be red. Okay, everything looks cool. We are getting what we want. So everything good. I will just fix this styling issue, which just make things look a bit uncomfortable. Opening the VS Code, I will just add to footer additional margin to solve this problem. As soon as it's not a design course, I don't intend to work and concentrate on design too much because it's just gonna take a lot of time. I believe if you reach with me here, you should already have at least that minimal knowledge of front end. Margin top, I think 150 pixels, and this should be enough. And let's register one more time. And yeah, it's, I think I can make it 200, and it's gonna be better. Let's register. Yeah, and everything looks better, and we have the errors that we need. So I believe that's it, and at least I could remove these BRs because P's are taking one line each, so no need to specify it. I think, yeah, everything is correct. It takes less space, so everything is better. And let's continue with our logic of registration. Obviously, what we did, that we see if user did not agree and there was an empty field, it's not gonna pass through. We are gonna have arrays. And what we continue at this moment, we are gonna remove this commented print query. We already need to let all this information to pass through to our database. For this, we already have a ton of functions which we wrote in last lessons in our connect.php. So it's already made, so we just need to make a good logic. So let's say in here, right after these ifs, our session is done, and we get information from error array, and we are gonna continue if empty. So if there are no errors, only then we are gonna continue and add information to database. So if everything is empty, here is what we are gonna do. We are gonna first of all check if this password and repass meet with each other, so as we can pass through. But I think we can also have this inside this if statement and add one more line to this one more element to this error array variable we have created. So we are gonna say if, because obviously password and password confirmation need to match with each other. So if password is not strictly equal with repass, it's gonna be a problem. So I'm gonna do the same, array.push, and here we are gonna say password and password confirmation need to match. match each other. It's saved, and let's continue by registering. So obviously they match because both of them are empty. If I put here A and another I put B and I put register, we are gonna have this error too. Password and password confirmation need to match each other. So we did this too, everything is correct. So now when we have passed all these checks, we can continue. So if it's empty, we can go on. And let's echo here, everything is cooler. Let's fix the typo and try it. So I'm gonna put here dog at dog.com, and password is gonna be AAA and AAA again. Register, we need to agree to. So let's put here again dog and email dog at dog.com, AAA, AAA, and then I'm gonna agree. And if I register, it's gonna be cool. So everything is cool, like it couldn't echo because we had error right after it. So, but if we don't get errors, everything is more than correct. But I think we can add one more layer of checks, which is gonna be the following. I think the username and password need to be at least 6 characters long. And to do this, I am gonna check it right upper of the password check. I'm gonna use if condition again. If it's the function which is again native PHP function is called mbstrlength. So mbstrlength of username is smaller than 6 characters, or the same for the password. This time it's gonna be password. Again, it's gonna be, or it's smaller than 6 elements. So it needs to be at least 6. So everything is correct. We are gonna push another problem. I don't check it for repass because anyway it need to be equal. So, but I can do it. Let's do it for repass too. It's gonna be better. So let's choose this repass and paste that in there. That's better, and I am gonna tell username and password need to be at least 6 characters long. So it's done too, and there it is. Let's try this too. Let's say I have this dog and I have the email too, 12312. Let's put it less than 6 just to test and see that everything works. I'm gonna push register here. Username and password need to be at least 6 characters long, so everything is way more correct. And now when everything is empty, let's start adding information to database. And for this, let's remember we have a function in our connect.php which is called insert. First of all, it accepts the table, and second is an array of objects. So let's make that array right now. So by doing the following, our ARR is equal to, let's remember the names in our database. I'm gonna open my PHP my admin. I'm gonna choose the users, and let's see. I have username, email, password. Yeah, username, email, password, and I think that's it. Let's do the following. And I think we have admin too, which we did not specify, but we will specify. We'll make a different process for admin creation. So let's see how our structure looks like. Our admin, I'm gonna add this. I think we can have here a default value. It's gonna be 0 for admin. So as it does not tell us about problems if we don't specify anything for admin. So what we need now for each user, it's username, email, and password, and nothing else. So let's call it username, which is gonna be this variable. Then let's specify the email, which is gonna be email. And then let's specify the password, which is gonna be the same password. And then let's try to insert, because we have already that function added, and the table is gonna be called users, and the array of object is gonna be our ARR, which we have created just in upper part. I'm gonna save this, go to our page one more time, reload it, everything is correct. I'm gonna make a shark, which is gonna be at shark.com, and the password is gonna be 123123 123. I'm gonna accept this, register, and we have a syntax error on line 37. Let's see what's the reason. Yeah, I just forgot to put this small, very small semicolon, and if I continue, I believe we lost it. So let's reload and see that everything is correct. Yeah, we don't have this error. And let's do it one more time. Our variables are lost, so let's do it. Shark.com, and password 123123 and I'm gonna agree to that and register. We still get this error, and let's see what's the reason of that and solve it. So let's try one more time. Yeah, we need 6 characters long username. Shark@shark.com 123123 and I'm gonna agree and register, and that's it. Duplicate entry. Let's check for it. Yeah, it's about password duplicate entry, so obviously we are gonna fix this. So about Sharker, let's add some more characters, 8554569, and let's do 8554569. I'm gonna register, and that's cool. Our Sharker is here. So congratulations, we were able to, with great success, to put information here. But we still have one small, very tiny question. What if a user gives us a malicious code? For example, they want to add a script text and give a bad experience to users visiting the page with the URL telling, hey, this website is not working. So obviously we need protection from this, and for this let's sterilize all the user input. In website development, you shall never trust user input. That's the worst thing that you can ever do, and that is the best thing you can do for hackers to make your website easily breakable. So never do this. Just make sure every time you sterilize your code. So first of all, it's nice to trim the code which we have, which is gonna remove any additional backspaces, spaces that we have. Then we are gonna strip the tags. Like some people would say, hey, it's enough, we have already prepared statement, but it's not like that. We need to have at least one more layer of security than we have now, so as we don't get malicious code into the website. So let's also strip the tags, which actually removes all the tags from the input. And finally, HTML entities. So these are the codes which can harm us. And I'm gonna wrap this again. So what we did right now, we did strip the text, and we did HTML entities. But HTML entities have also second parameter, which is end quotes in our case, which basically means that we don't accept any quotes. Let's make sure we don't have any typos. Everything is correct. Let's copy this line and paste this in here. And I'm gonna change here username to email, and our email is it's passwd, and it's repasswd. So we cleaned everything that is possible, but except for one thing, we are checking with isset this. We are checking if isset agree, but we don't actually move this information to database, so it can do no harm to us. So I'm not gonna serialize the value of the checkbox too. It has really zero reason to do that. And let's one more time to pass what we did right now. If I go here, if I am a malicious user and I try to do XSS attack on website, and let's say I try to make an alert or another malicious JavaScript codes which can give them access to the actual server on which the website is hosted, but I'm just showing you on the least dangerous thing which is possible to do with XSS. Let's say this page is broken, and this is about the reputation of the website. And closing script text. So what we did right now, first of all, we trimmed. So if there are additional backspaces, we cleaned it. It's more for the user. For a hacker, it makes no sense. But by stripping the tags, we force them to remove these tags, any HTML tags that are possible. So actually no command will execute. On the top of that, if they try to execute any Linux commands on our server, again, these commands need to use some characters like these single quote, double quotes. These commands are being eliminated, and they are transferred to special chars which can't be executed to HTML entities. So this is what we have done together, friends, and that's cool. And the last thing which I think we are gonna do about this registration stuff is that it's good to check if we have from the same email, and we need to hash the password, for which we have a native function as well, and it's called password hash. and it hashes the password to certain characters, which actually make it much more harder to break the password. What we do right now is just saving the password as it is, which is never a good practice. And with hashing, let's try. We can make them up to 60 character long different characters, which make our passwords more secure. And password hash has also second parameter, which we are gonna see now, and I'm gonna use that second one because it makes it 60 characters long, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's password default, and let's give that second parameter right after password. So whatever we get, it will be 60 characters long saved into the database. So that's it. And right after this, let's make sure that our emails don't match at all. For this time, we are gonna use the select one, which we have done together, and let's do the following before inserting. I'm gonna do select one. If you remember, this was the function we have created. It's inside connect.php. So first of all, it accepts users from table, and the second is the parameters. So it's gonna be email is gonna be equal to the email which we have in here. So let's add this, and if something is matching, we shall not insert. So this is how we are gonna do inside insert if, and I am gonna, it's an array of objects, it's gonna return an array of objects. If you remember the lesson we have done, if no, you can go back and see one more time how this function works, how we have done it. So it's gonna be an array. So let's make it equal to $email check. If nothing comes back, it's gonna be an empty array. So if empty email check, then we are gonna insert. Let's cut this and put it right in here. Else we are gonna push a value to the same ERR array. Let's save this and just make an update of the text. A user with corresponding email already exists. Let's save this and try to make a user, let's say with an email of redcat@redcat.com, because obviously that should never happen. So I'm gonna go back to my page, make a redcat red. An email is gonna be redcat@redcat.com, and the password 455988. So I will type again 5485488. and again 548548. I'm gonna agree and register, and I see it passing through, which is not actually good. So let's reload and see if there is any typo here. We have our last user. Yes, it's the one I think we have done together, redcat@redcat.com. So the function we have written does not work well enough for us, so let's remove this header. And also I'm not gonna insert anything yet, but I'm gonna just print query of email check. So yeah, I think yeah, it should be empty in order for it to work. So let's give it a try, and let's do it. So I'm gonna put I'm gonna put this, let's say this time, this email, to see if we are getting information correctly. 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. I'm gonna agree to it and register, and we are getting the information. So obviously the array is coming back to us, giving us a value. So it's not empty. It had to, let's echo something and find out the reason. It's let how it reacts and find where is the weak point of what we have done. So it's not being echoed, and the reason it's not being echoed, first of all, we have a letter missing in email check, so this needs to be fixed, and then this is gonna work. So we don't need this echo anymore, and let's clean the header. And right after that, also I'm gonna delete this print query, and our function is gonna work. But let's also move this assignment down right before header, because if we make this equal to 28 line and we assign and push new value on 42, it's not gonna work for this session, so we are not gonna see any error. So for this reason, let's go back right now, reload the page, and let's say, for example, something with my working email, and put here a value, a password 111111, and another 6 ones in here. And if I register, a user with corresponding email already exists. So I think that's all we could do in this lesson. We were able to make fully working registration logic, and in the next lesson we will study how to make the login and how to create sessions, so as we can show different pages and different elements based on the fact if the user is logged in or it's not logged in. And let's remember, we still can have to create an admin user, which will have super more authority of editing in the website from his dashboard, which we are gonna create in future lessons again. So thank you for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'm here for you, and let's move on together.